Let's do a word study on censorship. Merriam-Webster's dictionary describes a censor as a person or entity who supervises conduct and morals, or an official who reads communications and deletes material considered sensitive or harmful. It's also defined as a hypothetical psychic agency that represses unacceptable notions before they reach consciousness. But thought police is not in the realm of our discussion. Or is it? So the question becomes, who censors? And when does it become unconstitutional? I would submit to you that parents aren't showing love to their children very much if they don't censor harmful material that the children can't unsee or unhear. But the government can't make laws surrounding that. The whole idea of free speech came from the First Amendment of restrictive clauses against the government, which extended the ground of public confidence in the government. So these clauses would best ensure, this document isn't saying that it will definitely ensure, but that it will best ensure that government won't impede on our God-given rights. It goes on to say that these clauses would best ensure the beneficent ends of its institution. Beneficent means benevolent or altruistic. The First Amendment states that Congress is not to make any laws respecting the establishment or free exercise of religion, or reducing the freedom of speech or the right of peaceable assembly, especially if you have a grievance against the government. So, our First Amendment restricts the government. But I've also been in business meetings where we did a cost-benefit analysis after certain errors had been made, and we did choose to eliminate cost centers because they were currently, or in the future, costing us more than these cost centers were making us. So let's talk about Jimmy Kimmel. Did Disney, ABC, censor Jimmy Kimmel? Maybe. You could also say that they censored the news anchor Benny Ray Harmony when they suspended her for honoring Charlie Kirk. One could make the case that Disney ABC was in the habit of censoring information or misinformation, whatever the case may be. When FCC Chairman Brendan Carr criticized Kimmel's comments about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Carr called those comments some of the sickest conduct. I go back to see and hear what Carr was talking about from Kimmel's own mouth, that he was blaming the victim for the crime in his monologue. So, enter former Disney CEO Michael Eisner. He accused the FCC of using intimidation. He said the suspension was an example of out-of-control intimidation, saying it was aggressive yet hollow threatening. These comments really couldn't have come from an active member of Disney because it had the wrong optics. It would appear that Disney, ABC, from an outsider's perspective, decided, based on a cost-benefit analysis, to suspend Jimmy Kimmel because his message was harmful to the show's receipts and the cost of that message, and already low ratings and potential lawsuits outweighed the benefit of having Kimmel, the cost center, around anymore. Under those circumstances, Disney ABC did censor Kimmel and Benny Ray Harmony. Now enter Carr. It would appear from an outsider's perspective that this was a great way to cut the loss of censorship. Blame someone else for a suspicious business decision. And timed perfectly, by the way, after the head of the DOJ follows a narrative that wasn't even hers, that hate speech is not free speech when it incites violence. Unfortunately, if you cut off that sentence at the beginning, hate speech is free speech. So she should have spoken more clearly. And I think she clarified, but I have to look that up. So don't quote me on that. Lastly, let's talk about using the word censor in the right context too, and not latching on to a certain word that becomes a straw man argument against what the real point is. Sometimes disruptive arguments are red herrings and intentionally misleading. You may have heard Jimmy Fallon's commentary on the censorship. People laughed at it, but if you look at it, the monologue was intentionally misleading. You'll want to recognize these arguments based on fallacies and how to point those fallacies out. If you don't have the sensibility and reasoning skills to build your own belief systems, you are susceptible to any whim and fantasy. That includes manifesting a reality out of touch with, well, reality.